I need to apologize right up front for my hair. It's wet. I just got out of the shower. I was thinking today and yesterday, like, what video am I gonna post this week? I need to do monthly obsessions. What am I obsessing over? But then something happened yesterday and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a video chatting to you about it. I'm not gonna make a long melodramatic sado video. I'm just gonna chat about it. So I've had another miscarriage. I've had my 5th miscarriage. I'm just gonna walk you through it. I watch other people's videos where they're just sitting telling a story of something that happened, and I sit there and watch really interested, but then when I go to do it myself, I'm like, is anybody gonna really care? But there's a lot of you guys out there who have seen my videos on my other miscarriages and have been following our story. I'm so grateful to all of you for your support. So this play-by-play of my latest miscarriage is for you. I promise there won't be tons of tears, I hope. I'm doing okay, but let me just tell you what happened. So we got really lucky. We had our last miscarriage started, I think on January 24th, I want to say. And then afterwards, a few weeks went by and I wasn't starting my period again. And I was like, what is going on? I can't be pregnant already, can I? We really weren't trying. We were gonna like give my body a month to like reset, but I was like, oh my God, I think I'm pregnant. So I went to the store and I got a pregnancy test. And first of all, pregnancy tests here are 35 francs for a test. One test. Uno. Eins. That's German. Really expensive. I bought 2, so I blew my budget. It's hilarious. Like when you find out you're pregnant, you're usually at home. You know, you're super excited to tell your husband, okay, this is like this will be the 6th pregnancy test that I've taken, including when I had my pregnancy test with Patrick. So I was just kind of like, ugh. I went into the public bathroom at the drugstore and peed on a stick and sat there, and there it was. I was pregnant. So next, what did I do? Again, super romantic, breaking the news to my husband. I've run out of ways basically to tell him that I'm pregnant because I've been pregnant so many times. So I text him. I texted him from the bathroom stall and was like, I'm knocked up again, with a picture of the pregnancy test. Super romantic. That's me. He was freaked out. He was scared. He was like, let's not get excited, which I wasn't. I was like, until I get to 5 weeks, I won't be excited. So the way you track your pregnancy, if you've had a miscarriage, is you try to pin down the conception date, which we were able to do. From there, it tells you how pregnant you are. Wasn't really thinking too much about it. Obviously, cutting back on the caffeine, no alcohol, stopped doing CrossFit, and kind of just watched the days tick by. And then I got to 5 weeks, and I was so excited because every miscarriage I've had has been earlier and earlier in my pregnancy. So like the first one was at like 7, and then there was like 6, and then 5, and then just before 5 weeks, I was all in. I was like, this is gonna work. This one's gonna stick. I know it. We're gonna have this baby. I was so excited. And my husband was like, let's slow your roll. Like, we don't know yet if it's gonna happen. So I think he emotionally protected himself a little better than I did. I went ahead and made my ultrasound appointment, which was supposed to be next Wednesday. And we had an appointment on this Friday, the 9th of March, at a recurring miscarriage center. And I was like, should I go ahead and cancel it? Like, I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby now. When I got to 6 weeks, I emailed them and said, look, I'm pregnant. Should I come in for this appointment? They said, it's really up to you. And I didn't cancel it. I kind of sat on the it's really up to you for a few days. Thank goodness. I don't know. It's really weird that I didn't cancel it. I made a 6-week pregnancy update, which I gotta tell you, the next time I get pregnant, I don't even know if I'm gonna bother with those videos because I've made them like 3 times waiting to show them to you guys once I hit 12 weeks. And they're just all really repetitive. Maybe I'll just like lucky dip, pick one of the 6-week updates. And when I do finally get pregnant, drop that in because it tends to be the same every time. And like I said, I'm pregnant now. Like I'm not even thinking about the prospect of a miscarriage. I woke up yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I'm filming this Wednesday. And Patrick was eating breakfast, so he was in his high chair. Thank goodness. Because then it's not like he's walking in on me or anything like that. I'm in the bathroom and doing what you do in the bathroom. And I go and like finish up doing what you do in the bathroom, and I see blood on the tissue. And it's like involuntarily I just went, oh no, 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 no. And that was it. I knew I was having another miscarriage. Didn't cry, didn't get emotional. I think it's weird. Like, to be honest, for me, miscarriage is the norm. That's the norm. To carry on being pregnant every day got me more emotional than having a miscarriage, because I'm used to having those now. I emailed my gynecologist and said, look, you know, this is what's happening. I really don't know what to do. Should I just stay at home and wait? Should I be going to the hospital? And they said, go to the hospital right away. So I dropped Patrick off at school and I went into the hospital and walked in. I was sitting there. Sprechen Sie English? Do you speak English? And this woman who was probably in her late 50s, early 60s, late 50s probably, she was like, yes. And she started filling out the form kind of to check me in. And I was trying to explain to her that I didn't have a period before, like it was a miscarriage in January. And she was like, is this your second miscarriage? And I said, no, it will be my fifth. This is the only thing that will get me emotional. Then I won't cry anymore, I promise. She got up out of her chair, walked around the counter, and just like put her hand on my back and said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I lost it. I just started like bawling at the table. I mean, not inconsolable, but got super, super emotional. And she walked back around and sat down and like let me compose myself. She didn't say anything else. This, you know, Swiss or German woman, I'm not sure. You know, English was her second language, but she kind of like just connected with me. I don't know if maybe she has a similar story. She's probably seen it a few times, but it was just such a simple act of kindness from a stranger. Oh man, the power of that, right? Do nice things for strangers. Goodness gracious. That I'll remember that the rest of my life. I'll remember how kind that stranger was the rest of my life. That was amazing. Anyway, meanwhile, so I got myself back together and I went upstairs to the ultrasound ward where all the pregnant women come in and get their ultrasounds. The number one place I wanted to be yesterday, in a waiting room filled with heavily pregnant women waiting to hear their baby's heartbeats, waiting to, you know, get excited about their due date. That sounds really mean. I'm not being mean, but let's be honest. I would have rather been, you know, in the waiting room for a colonoscopy yesterday, okay? So I sit there, it ends up being like an hour. And finally this woman comes in and she's like, we don't have enough space on this floor because there's so many women here getting ultrasounds, but I'm gonna take you up to the labor floor. So I'm like, okay. So I start to mentally prepare, like, am I gonna be on a floor to hear women in labor giving birth to these beautiful babies? Luckily, no. Isn't it funny, like it's like usually during the night, that's like the hot time in the labor floor. Anyway, it was super quiet. Basically, I'm in a room where women give birth. It's surreal, the reason I'm there and where I am for this appointment. So I'm at the hospital and I'm getting an ultrasound and they totally brought me to the labor ward. Like I'm literally, there's a birthing pool. That's a birthing pool. I'm in a labor room. That's a bassinet for a new baby. This is exactly where I want to be. Something's wrong with the ultrasound machine, so I'm standing here waiting by myself. No clothes on from the waist down, standing in the buff, flashing my tush to the outside. This is the shittiest day ever. I need to go to the bathroom at this point. Like I need to pee. And I say to the woman, like, do you need me to pee in a cup? Because if you do, then I need to pee right now. So we should probably do that now. I know how the drill works. I've done it so many times. English is her second language. So she's not really understanding what I'm saying. So I try to like break it down as much as I can. So she's like, oh, yes. Down the hall, fourth door on your right. So I go down the hall, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go in this bathroom and I don't see any cups. So I just assume like she hasn't understood what I've said. So I'm just gonna wee because I need to wee. And I come back out, I go in the room. She steps out, comes back in like 2 minutes later. She's like, well, your pregnancy test is still positive. And I was kind of like, well, can you just tell by looking at me? Like I haven't done anything. You haven't taken blood or anything. I was like, how do you know? She's like, from your urine. I was like, I didn't pee in a cup. She's like, oh my gosh, that wasn't your urine. So congratulations to whoever's urine that was. You're still pregnant. So I was like, no, there was no cups in the bathroom. And she's like, come show me where you went. And I had gone in the staff bathroom. I hadn't gone in the bathroom, the one I was supposed to go in. Mine was the next door. So she's like, can you pee again now? Because you can go in there now. I was like, no, I don't have to pee now. But she gave me a giant glass of water and she's like, we'll check again in a few minutes. So It was a light moment, like no harm, no foul. I wasn't angry or anything. And she was just like, kept saying, and shoot again, which is, I'm sorry, which was totally fine. So I go back in the the beautiful labor room that I just showed you. And I get up on the table and she proceeds to give me an ultrasound. Now, if you're new to the miscarriage game, they give you these ultrasounds to see what your uterus looks like. And they ain't the like romantic jelly thing on the belly that you see in the movies, people. No, not when you're this early. It's like basically getting a pap smear. It's very invasive. It's a long wand that is not used for doing magic. It's used to, with a camera on the end, to see what's going on in your uterus. So I got to go through that joyful process. She said, I don't see anything, but that's normal for this early. So it could still be fine. Whereas in my mind, I'm going, look, I'm having a miscarriage. So that fun bit's over. And then she goes out to check my correct urine sample. I was able to go back to the bathroom and pass a little bit of wee for her. And she checked that and she came back in and she says, your test is positive. You are still pregnant based on the HCG hormone levels in your urine. So I was like, okay. So she's like, let's walk back downstairs. I'm going to take some blood from you. So we'll check your HCG levels in your blood. And then I'll need you to come back in 2 days and we want to see if the levels have come down or gone up. Here's a little pregnancy lesson. When you get pregnant, you have a hormone that starts being created in your body called HCG. Every week, as you're progressively more and more pregnant, the levels go up and up and up and up and up. If you're having a miscarriage, they go down and down and down and down and down. That's how it works. So in 2 days, they'll test my blood again to see if the levels have come down. If they have, I'm having a miscarriage. That's how it works. So we walk back downstairs and I say, well, is there a chance that maybe I'm just spotting a little bit and this is fine? She's like, yeah, of course there's a chance, but given your history, and she just left it there and I was like, right, okay. Number 5. So I get back downstairs, they take a bunch of blood to look at the HCG levels, and then they give me an anti-D jab. Anti-D, I think that's what it's called. In America, it's called like Rogon, or it's got an R word. If you have a negative blood type, you need to get this jab anytime you have a miscarriage, after a pregnancy, during a pregnancy, because basically if you have a negative blood type, and I'm not a doctor, but this is the broad idea. Your blood, after you are pregnant the first time, your blood cannot cross paths with a positive blood type, because if it does, your body can produce antibodies that will attack that positive blood type. I think that's how it goes. I think that's how it works. So basically, anytime I have a miscarriage or I bleed during a pregnancy, they need to give me this jab to stop these antibodies from forming that will attack whatever's in me. So basically, hearing this, you're probably going, that sounds like something that would maybe cause a miscarriage. You know, they've looked into if I'm creating these antibodies over my last miscarriage and I'm not. So blah, 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 medical jargon, da, 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 da. The long and short of it is I got a jab taking blood and I got a shot in the States and a shot for this anti-D. That was it. I haven't been that emotional this time. I don't know. Maybe I've just become a shell of a person and I'm so numb. Maybe. I don't know. I told my husband when he got home last night, I decided not to tell him until after Patrick went to bed because I wanted him to really enjoy the hour he was here with Patrick to play, and everybody was in a really good mood and we were having a lot of really fun family time, and it wasn't the right time. So I told him afterwards, and he was really upset, and he kind of said, I give up. And I was like, well, I need you to have a baby, so I can't have you given up yet. So we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up. No, not going to give up. Since then, the bleeding has picked up. I'm definitely having a miscarriage. I can diagnose myself. This morning, I was describing to a friend that my uterus feels like a wet washcloth that somebody's wringing out because it's like squeezing, and the cramps are so painful. It hurts so bad. It's not pleasant. It's a familiar feeling for me, but I don't wish it on anybody. My contacts went in really easily this morning, so that was a win. I'm focusing on the positives. What else happened today? Oh, a little girl waved at me as she crossed a crosswalk, and she was like 4, and I almost started crying. I gave her a big wave. Little simple things like that. this is really like, I don't know, these miscarriages, they've changed me for sure, for sure. In some ways it's been really bad. Like I'm definitely mentally not in the best place I've been in my life for sure. Um, yeah, it's dark days. It's been dark days for a while, but I've really been, it's reaffirmed that my sense of humor kind of gets me through and will get me through most challenging, awful things in my life because I don't know, I'm at this point, like I have to laugh at it. I have to, or else I will lose my mind. So I have to like, I don't know, not joke about it, but just keep it light, right? And two, it's changed me in that, well, I mean, it's definitely changed. I don't know if you saw my like ways to talk to somebody who's had a miscarriage or things to do and not to do. It's changed the way that I interact with other people around stuff that they're going through. I've definitely become more of a listener and less of a fixer. Like, you know, I used to be the person who's like, but maybe if you do this, try to do this, try to, no, I just shut up and listen now. That's a positive thing that's come out of it, I guess. But hey ho. Hey ho, hey ho. Update though, let's get an update. On Friday, we are going into Zurich City for an appointment with the recurring miscarriage specialist. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Maybe that's why I'm dealing okay with this, because that is like the next light at the end of the tunnel. I'm gonna hopefully get some answers and figure out what next steps are. I haven't really entertained the idea of what that is exactly, if that's like adoption, am I going to be able to carry a child? I haven't really entertained all of those kind of what ifs yet, but I'm really just looking forward to that next appointment in Zurich. That's it for me today, guys. Sorry, it's kind of a not super exciting video and a Debbie Downer one for sure, but I just figured, I was like, I cannot make another like beautiful music, super sad, lots of crying miscarriage video. I'm bored. I'm sick of making them, actually. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name's Eileen. If you are going through miscarriage or recurring miscarriage, I hope my channel can be a beacon of support, light, and hope for you. That is very cheesy and very stupid sounding, but I mean every single word of it. My mantra on my channel is from the Marigold Hotel movie, It All Works Out in the End. And if it hasn't worked out yet, you know what? It's not the end. So I fully support you, and anybody out there going through this, keep your head up. Keep your head up. We'll all get there in the end. I hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.